Hey guys, it's Warfare Daily here. Welcome back to the channel. And today I'm going to be telling you guys about some War Thunder news regarding the next update coming out. Now, it has been announced that the M1 Abrams is getting added to the US tech tree in the next update. I'm guessing that, I'm not sure what BR it'll be, but obviously it'll be the top tier tank. Now, this is just the first model M1 Abrams, but it has also been confirmed that for another patch they're also going to add the M4A1 Abrams. So basically they're just going all out modern tanks. I think the equivalent for the other factions, I think the British get the Challenger 1, the Germans get the Leopard 2K, and not sure what the Russians get yet, but yeah, it looks like they are going all out with the modern tanks, and I was kind of wondering if they were going to add the M1 Abrams. I mean, it was kind of a possibility with the release of the MBT, the American, yeah, I think it's just called MBT, yeah, MBT 70, sorry, yeah, with the release of that tank, I was kind of, well, me and everyone else was kind of wondering if they were going to add the M1 Abrams, so it's finally here, and well, I'm honestly thinking that it could end up being a bit overpowered. Now, I mean, obviously, historically, this tank was, for its time, probably the best tank in the world at its time. Now, I mean, it's still, the newest versions of the, like, M1A2 are probably still one of the best tanks in the world, even now. But the first model M1 Abrams was the most advanced tank for its time. And, one thing to note is that it has the 120mm gun that it had for real, and I'm wondering if it's going to have the depleted uranium rounds. Now, if it does, that's really good for the tank. It could also make it unbalanced and overpowered. But the other round, if it doesn't get depleted uranium, I think it'll get what the M60s have, which isn't really enough penetration for it. So therefore, it probably will, or possibly could get the depleted uranium round, which is going to mean that if you look at something, it's basically dead, especially low tier targets. Like, there's nothing that won't go through. Now, if it doesn't get that, then it'll probably get another round, or just a much better version of the Heat FS and the you know, the other rounds like the Sabo and stuff. Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I mean, that's depleted uranium round is what it had for real, so that'll be interesting to see if it has that. Now, as far as the speed and maneuverability goes, it is actually a very fast tank. It has the speed that it had for real, 45 miles an hour. I think that's about 72 kilometers. So yeah, it's going to be a very fast tank, like for real. And that is surprising despite its size, because it is a big and heavy tank. But yeah, probably the most interesting thing about it is going to be the armor. Because for real, the tank has, I think it has uranium. I think I'm just trying to remember what it's called. It's like uranium composite armor or something. But or maybe that's the later variants. I don't know. That could be the later model M1s. Like, I think the first M1 might actually just have regular composite armor. But it'll be interesting to see how the protection goes, because for real, the tank actually, the modules inside it were actually protected themselves by armor. Like, I think the ammo rack and the something else, maybe it's the engine, I don't know. But the modules of the tank are actually protected by their own armor, for real. So it'd be interesting to see if it gets that in the game. And I think that the armor on it that we know of is going to be like, I think it's about 400 on the turret and maybe 300 on the hull. Not entirely sure. I think that's just for what I heard from my video. It was mentioned, so not really entirely sure. But yeah, also it has 3 machine guns. It has one 50 cal that can be used to shoot down aircraft. The other 2 machine guns are 7.62 millimeters. There's the coxswain gun, and then there's this other one next to the 50 cal. Not sure if that'll actually be able to shoot down aircraft, but it is a big advantage having a 50 cal to shoot down aircraft. That's one problem that, for example, like the T-62 and the T-64 have. Now, it got me wondering though, since they're adding this tank for the Americans, I'm honestly thinking that they're going to add the T-72 or maybe even the T-80 for the Russians. I mean, they'll have to add a tank to counter it, and we already know that the other factions, you know, the British have the Challenger 1 and the Germans have the Leopard 2K. Now, about those two other tanks, I personally believe the M1 is going to be overpowered. And the reason I say that is because it's basically a much better version, from what I've heard, of the Leopard 2K. It has the same gun, but it has good armor. I think it's just as fast, really, despite being a heavy tank. Not really entirely sure about the Challenger 1. That might be an interesting tank. But yeah, there's not a whole lot else to be said about this tank. I mean, we don't know all the facts about it yet. It's only just recently been released. So yeah, unfortunately, I probably won't get to play it. Because, well, I don't really have anything for the Americans. I only have, like, rank 2 tanks for the Americans. I focused all my attention on the Russians and Germans. So, yeah, I don't think I'll be playing this tank. But for all you guys who do get to play it, yeah, I hope you enjoy it. I mean, I think it's going to be a good tank. As I said, I'm not sure about the BR rating, but, yeah, it looks like Gaijin has definitely gone all out modern tanks. And about modern tanks, personally, I believe that if they want to add modern tanks, they should just make a whole new game. And the reason I say this is because most people won't even get to play these modern tanks, whereas if they added a whole new game just for modern tanks, it would start off with, say, the T-54 for the Russians as the rank 1 tank, and that gives players a chance to use these higher tier tanks. So yeah, that's just my opinion, but yeah, that's about all for this video. There's nothing else to be said about the M1 yet. But I think you guys who know about the M1 will be able to figure it out for yourselves, because if it's anything realistic, then yeah, it's going to be, I would nearly go as far as saying, the best tank in the game. But yeah, we'll have to see. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.